2, 3, and I need help on 4 on
Okay.
page 201.
Yep, perfect. Morning, Emma.
Morning.
I want to look at question 4 to start with on page 201, okay?
Okay.
All right, so this one is very similar to one I had showed you as an example earlier about investments. So Jamal plans to invest $12,000 in 2 types of bonds. Okay, so my defining statements work as follows. So one is going to be, X is going to be the first investment, Y is going to be the second investment. So if I don't go any further than the first line in this, it says Jamal plans to invest $12,000 in 2 types of bonds. Okay, so X and Y is going to be the amount of money they invest, and each one is in separate investments. So my first equation that I'm going to work with is X and Y have to add up to give you 12,000. Okay, so you could invest 9,000 in one and 3,000 in another. It could be 6,000 and 6,000, 8,000 and 4,000, whatever it is. But the 2 of them combined will add up to 12,000. Okay. So number, the second part of this says the first investment yields 9%, and the second one yields 11% annually. If he wants to earn a total of $1,200 annually. Okay. So what that means is this. So we haven't really talked a lot about it in grade 10, but I'm going to bring it up right now. To find the amount of interest you earn off of an investment, there's 2 types of interest that we work with. The first one is simple, and the second one is compound interest. Now, we're not going to deal with compound interest. We're just simply working with simple interest. And simple interest is I equals PRT. So to calculate the amount of interest you earn, you take the investment. Let's say, hypothetically, the investment was $10,000. That's what we call our principal. So P represents your principal, and that's a fancy word for amount invested. Okay, and that's what the principal is. The R is the rate as a percent, or as a decimal, actually. And T is the number of years of the investment. And because we are talking about annually, we're only talking about 1 year. So an example would be $10,000. Interest rate might be 4% for 1 year, and then you would multiply it to get what you want. So if I'm only using 1 year, then basically my investment is just P times whatever my interest rate is, because it's talking about 1 year. So to go back here now, that means then that I take the amount I invest in the first one, which is X, and I times it by the rate at which it earns over 1 year, and that's 9%. So I put that as 0.09. And then I take Y, that's the amount I'm going to invest in the second bond, and its interest rate is 11% for that year. And combined, when I add their interest together, I'm going to end up with $1,200. All right. Okay, so we have done one very similar to this. One of our example questions, or one of our questions in earlier on, was one that was very similar to this. And I messed it up, so I think that's probably why you couldn't get this one today. Okay, so A, I'm just going to leave as is. In B, I'm going to times B by 100. Again, what that's doing is that's allowing me to get rid of my decimal. So for B, I'm going to have 9x plus 11y equals 120,000, because I also have to multiply that by 100. My A is x plus y equals 1200. So now I have to determine what's the best method to solve this question. You can use whatever method you like. I may times this by -9. That would get my 9x's to cancel out. You may times this by -11. That would get the y's to cancel out. You may want to solve and get y by itself or x by itself and then substitute in. Whichever method you like best at that point, you're able to use. Do you need me to finish this question, or was this the part right here, Avery, that caused the problem?
That was the part.
Okay, so you get the x plus y equals 12,000, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're adding two investments together, and the amount that you add, that you invest, has to equal 12,000. And then this part here is that interest part. That's the part that we haven't done a lot of work with yet. What we get into grade 11. So I take the amount I'm going to invest and I multiply it by the percentage. And that's going to give me how much the investment is worth. So if I invested $10,000, all right, and I times it by 9%, okay, so that's what, $900, all right, for this one. Then that means I'd have to have 3,000 here, and so on. So that's how that works. Does that help you out at all, Avery?
Yeah.
Okay, can you solve it now that I've got it to here?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right,
Thank you.
no worries. Did you have any other questions that you want to look at on there yet?
No, that was as far as I got.
Okay, Emma, how did you make out?
I did pretty good. I didn't get to 10.
Okay.
But I did pretty good.
Okay, did you have any issues with any of those, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9?
Actually 2A.
Okay, oh yeah, do you want to do 2A? Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Solve each system of linear equations by method of your choice. Leave it in fraction form. So I have 2x minus 5y. Okay. Which method do you like to use? Do you want to use the elimination method, or do you want to use substitution? Or do you have a preference?
Substitution, please.
Okay, so all right, which one, how about you work this through with me? Which one did you solve for to get by itself? Which equation did you work with first, A or B?
Actually, I used the elimination method.
Okay.
I was looking at the question above it that I used, substitution.
Okay. So what did you multiply? Did you multiply A or B by what?
I multiplied A by -4.
Perfect. Okay, let's start with that. Times -4. That's exactly what I would have done as well. That gives you minus 8x plus 20y equals 72. So that would be plus 72. How does that look to you?
The same.
Okay, excellent. So now I'm going to add that. That gives me 7y here. And then I have 72 subtract 58, which is going to give me 14. So far, so good?
Yep.
So what does y equal?
2.
Excellent. So let's put that into A now. That's minus 10. I'm going to add that to the other side, so I get minus 8. X equals negative 4. Is that what you end up with?
Yeah.
So a solution of negative 4 and 2?
Yeah. I don't know what I did or why I thought I did that wrong.
Okay. Well, if you got negative 4 and 2, you're right.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
I mean, let's check it. Let's make sure. So let's put it into the second equation. So 8 times negative 4 minus 13 times 2 should equal negative 58. So I have minus 32 and minus 26, and that equals minus 58. We've got it right. Okay?
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. Somebody else might have had that question, so it's all right to ask those. None of those word problems, though, from 5 to 10, did you need help with?
No, I don't think so. Maybe 7?
Sure. Let's do it. During the winter, a mason feeds his horse a daily diet of hay and a mixture of grain. The total weight of the hay and grain is 20 pounds. All right, so let's do this. How about X is hay, Y is grain, and when I add those two together, it equals 20 pounds. Okay? He recently ordered enough grain at $2.10 per pound and hay at 8 cents per pound to last 60 days and paid a total of $702. How much hay and how much grain does Mason feed his horse? Okay, so the hay, which we have as X, is 8 cents a pound. So I'm going to go 0.08 times the amount plus 2.10 times Y, and that should equal my total cost, which I think was $702, right? So that's what I have right there. Are you okay so far?
Yep.
All right. So now your choice again of what you would want to use to do this. What method would you use here?
Substitution, probably.
Okay. Which one do you want to solve for then? X or Y?
Y.
Okay. Using A, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I get Y is equal to minus X, add 20. So I'm going to put that into B now. Okay, there's what I have right there. Did my substitution. Simplify it now. 0.08x plus, well, subtract 2.1x plus, what is that, 42 equals 702. Okay, so that stays the same. 2.1 times that is minus 2.1x. 2.1 times 20 is 42. Collect these terms here, so I'm going to end up with minus 0.13x. Is that right? I feel like we got an error somewhere. I don't like this, the way it's done. Because I'm going to end up with a negative. I should not end up with a negative here. So let's see where we've gone wrong here. All right. During the winter, Mason feeds his horse a daily diet of hay and a mixture of grain. Total weight of the hay and grain is 20, so x plus y equals 20. You recently ordered up grain at $2.10 a pound and hay at 0.08 cents per pound for the last 60 days and paid a total of $702. How much hay and how much grain does Mason feed his horse per day? Well, that's over 60 days. So that's for 60 days. So then we'd have to divide by divide by 60, but still, this isn't working right. What do we do wrong here? I should not end up with a negative value there. Now have a look at our solutions to see what's going on. So this is page 201, 9.3, question 7. Okay, so they divided all daily diet. Okay, so I've got one error here that I can see so far. Okay, I got the error now. Sorry about that. So what I needed to do right here is I needed this 20 pounds was a daily diet. Okay, so I can either multiply 20 by 60 to find out what it is for 60 days because that's how much they paid, or I can take the $702 and divide it by 60 to find out how much it was per day. And I think it said it was $11.70 a day. Let me make sure that's so 702 divided by 60. Yeah, it's $11.70. So there's what I have here. So now I have 1170 here. Okay. So everything here is the same up to this point. So this is where I was thinking I had the error, which I did. I should have had 0.13x, but now I subtract that 42 to the other side, which gives me the negative number I was looking for. So that negative number I think is 3030. I'll make sure of that though. Subtract 42. Yeah. Okay, then I have to divide that by 0.13. get a massively large number here. Okay, so now what else do we have around here? How much hay and how much grain does Mason feed his horse per day? That's per pound. Okay, I'm still having an issue with this question. I've got another error here. Where's the other error now? Oh, there it is. Huh. My math skills are not great after a long weekend. Sorry about that. This is minus 2.02 x. Therefore, there we go. 30.3. That equals to 15. Therefore, y is equal to 5. All right, so I made a mess of this question. So let's go back and let's review how this happened. All right, so x plus y is equal to 20. That's 20 pounds, and that's for the daily diet. It said that it cost 0.08 or 8 cents a pound for hay and $2.10 a pound for grain. And over 60 days, they spend $702. So I need to find out what it is per day. So I take 702 divided by 60, I get 1170. I did exactly what you asked me to do. Substitute in for, solve for y, and I substituted in minus 2.1x plus 42. 0.08x, this is where I made my other mistake. Not all there today. So 0.08 subtract 2.1 is 2.02x. I subtract 42 to this side, which is minus $30.30. Divide, get x equals 15. So there's 15 pounds of hay and 5 pounds of grain. All right. You able to follow through that mess that I just did for you, Emma?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to look at?
Nope.
Okay. So what I'd like to see is if you can get to the end of 13 then for tomorrow, and then tomorrow we'll start in on our review. Okay?
Okay.
Avery, you're on number 5 right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a little bit more work to do there today then. I'm going to leave you girls on here. So if you have questions, you need help setting up the questions, I'll do that with you, okay? Okay, so we'll leave you on here for another half hour or so.
Okay.
I'm just going to mute myself.